Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, where we provide world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. We're hoping that you will literally get on the bus with us. Our show today is the United Kingdom News and Culture, and I am Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. I want to welcome you very warmly. We're so excited about how this platform continues to grow, and it's all because of you. So thank you to our loyal followers. Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to our team members. Thank you to our guests, and thank you. All right, let's get the show started. Welcome, the star of our show, DIANN FLOYD BOEHM. Hello.
Hi, Dr. Jacalyn. Great to be here.
DIANN, so nice to see you as always. Where in the world are you now?
I'm in Texas. Yay!
Yay, we love Texas. So many wonderful team members here from Texas. And a lot of that is because of you. So thanks for the introductions.
You're welcome.
Joining us from across the pond, where we are going to get the scoop on the latest news and happenings in the United Kingdom. It's the lovely, the vivacious HELENA CHARD. Hello.
Hey, lovely to see you. I'm here in the UK. So happy to speak to you and share all our wonderful news.
We always love seeing you, HELENA. You've got that beautiful smile on your face. So we can't wait to hear about the latest news. Also joining us, it's the dapper and handsome and sometimes very funny Simon MacDonald. Hello.
Hello. You're lowering my head going that size now. DIANN, you're in the same place for 2 weeks in a row. This is something of a record.
Shocking.
It's mind-boggling.
Isn't it just? Oh, you'll be getting so fed up with the place, and we need to be on the move next week, I think.
Don't worry, October's coming.
Yes, it's got beautiful sunny weather we have here in the UK today, and I'm quite sure, HELENA, you've got it in the deep south there in London. Sure, we have just
it's so hot. I don't have air conditioning here. That's the only problem. Unlike in the States, it's so hot.
I have natural air conditioning. I wear a kilt.
We like to hear that.
Show and tell, Simon. Show and tell. Well, it is boiling hot here. I can tell you it's in the 90s, and I don't know what's going on, but it seems to be hotter than ever. But we're not going to talk about climate change because that's a different show. So we are going to talk about the United Kingdom news and culture. Let's start with HELENA. What do you have for us today?
Oh, goodness. So lots of things have been happening and are happening. I am going to start with King Charles. Two firsts. We've had the Highland Games in Scotland, and it's been fun and games. And obviously, it's the first time he has been there enjoying everything as King Charles. And two, he has his new Balmoral tartan. Well, it's a version of that. And it's made of natural dyes, and he looks very dapper in it, I have to say. I saw it the other day and I thought, wow, he's got this lovely jacket that he wears and waistcoat, and he wears it with these long red socks. So we'll have to sort of see a picture of him shortly. I think it's based on the Balmoral set, which is from the 1800s, 1850. And it's actually been registered with the Scottish Register of Tartans, and it's made in the old way. These sort of colours are from the olden days, and obviously it's very much all about him, which I love. And the good thing is lovely that Queen Camilla was there as well, and Princess Anne, and they were sat there having such fun, just laughing and giggling and watching all of the games taking place. There's the throwing of the hammers and the tossing the BOEHM cable, which is like Highland dancing and pipers and track events. I mean, lots of things. I know Simon will probably know more about this. And it's just really good to see. And I think all the organisers were so thrilled to see King Charles, but also so thankful remembering Queen Elizabeth, because she actually had been every year, apart from last year when she was poorly just before she passed. She actually first attended at the age of 7 with her grandparents. So yeah, that was a really good, fun time. And I don't know if we've got a picture to show the tartan. There he is. That's an official greeting him, and I think it's a really lovely colour. I love this sort of pinkish colour. Can't quite see his socks, his long socks. Is that a sporrum he's got there? I think Simon probably knows more than I would. But it was great. It's great to see everybody in just fine fettle and laughing. We absolutely need lots of laughter. What does everyone think about that?
Absolutely splendid. He actually carries off a kilt extremely well, and the new Balmoral tartan is tells a lot of story there in history behind it as well. The other gentleman there greeting him is wearing Clancameron tartan as well, which is actually quite local, just up the road from here. So there are over 1,500 tartans. Well, so now that he's got this new one registered, there must be 1,501. But it's, yes, wearing the tartan is a thing of great pride. And yes, he is wearing the sporran in front as well. That's a daytime sporran as opposed to a dress one, which will be for the evening as well. So Highland Games are amazing. Absolutely incredible, and we have a great circuit of them throughout Scotland. I was at the Inverary Highland Games here just not so long ago with His Grace the Duke of Argyll and his beautiful lady wife, and it was a fabulous event. So it's an experience, a serious experience like no other.
What do you mean when you say register? Is it sort of like a patent or copyright? What does that mean?
Yes, it is. It is. It's like a pattern copyright or a copyright of pattern. I don't know which way round you put the words. Here I'm supposed to be writing books, and I don't know which way round to put words. Yes. So every tartan has to be registered. Otherwise, it is not a part. Put them in. It's not a tartan. It's a pattern then. So yes, the register there, it does grow considerably. I mean, there's new tartans being submitted all the time, but they don't all make the register. There's various different criteria that they must fall under. And don't ask me what the criteria are, because I've never tried putting a tartan forward. I wear a MacDonald tartan, MacDonald Clanranald, and a dress one for the evening, but the traditional MacDonald Clanranald during the day.
Well, I'm sure with Diane's new sewing machine, she's probably working on a tartan herself, right, Diane?
Right, I'm sure I am. I don't think so. But I have a question. If somebody wanted to come and see, not participate, but observe, is September the time to come, or is it throughout the year?
Yeah, in Scotland, May and September can be the best months. September usually is the star of them all. The seawater is warm if you want to go in swimming. In May, it's still very, very cold. You've just about got to break the ice. This year, I mean, I think Helena will agree with me that the weather has been a bit bizarre. We had 3 weeks in June where it was blisteringly hot. And then in July and August, well, I don't think the tide came in so much as the tide came down. It was torrential rain for July and August. And then suddenly, here we are, 1st of September, the sun's come out and we've got a real heat wave. And the weatherman was expecting somewhere in the UK today or tomorrow to actually hit an all-time record high temperature. So there we go. It's very welcome here, I can assure you.
Warm here in the Swiss Alps too. Who's
Thank
that?
you, David. We appreciate you commenting. Helena, we had another graphic. I wasn't sure if this is, I should have put this up.
Oh yeah, that's actually taken, that's the Pipers, I think. Is it the Pipers? Yeah, the Pipers entertaining everybody. I think September is a good time to attend the games, because obviously you're going to see the royal family there if you're lucky. Obviously they're in Balmoral on their holidays, and it's not too far from there. So September definitely is always the best time to go. And the Queen Elizabeth, late Queen Elizabeth, just missed it last year, which is such a shame. But never mind, she had many years of great fun there. So all good, all good. And I know now moving on to Queen Camilla, who also was there as well in her tartan, but different tartan. So Queen Camilla, I don't think people really talk enough about her good points. And I just wanted to share that she is recognised and is a really, really important champion of literacy. Now, here in the UK, especially during COVID, after COVID, literacy has fallen tremendously. Young children are not keeping up here in the UK, which we won't go into the reasons of whys, etc., but it's really disappointing. So it's lovely having Queen Camilla as a champion there, because obviously she realises, and everyone realises, that it gives life opportunities to everybody. And she is so devoted and has been for so many years. She works with so many charities. I know the National Literacy Trust and Beanstalk is a great charity. Actually, we had somebody on, Paul Connolly, some time ago on the Celebrate Great Britain show, who also supports Beanstalk. And I know that to celebrate the coronation, 50 coronation libraries were set up to go to communities with sort of low level of literacy, normally in sort of where cost of living is really biting. So they're being set up now, which is great. Vice patron of the Royal Commonwealth Society. So obviously it's a Commonwealth thing. And she has a flagship literacy project, which is amazing, and essay competitions. And I mean, she was entertaining people that were part of it in 2013. So obviously that goes back a fair way. During COVID, she had her reading room that she launched, which was amazing, in that she was recommending her favourite books. This was on Instagram, and it was a huge success. Everyone got involved, and we're excited about that. But I think as well, the biggest thing for me that I've really enjoyed, and it's been going for a little while now, it's a new thing called Poetry Together. And Queen Camilla has launched it with Giles Brandron, who is a fabulous correspondent, he shares news, he's on lots of programmes, absolute darling, I love him. He did start off in politics, but he's also a close friend of the royal family, of the late Queen. And he and Camilla are formidable together. And they recently had like a recital at Fielding Primary School, because the whole idea is to connect young people with the elderly. And it was, they both had to learn a poem. So the younger person, older person, and then perform it in front of a few people and families, etc. 800 care homes, as well as lots of schools, have taken part in it. And not just here, Greece, Romania, Dubai, Nigeria, so many people being part of it. And the recitals were watched, enjoyed. Cake was made, Victoria Sponge, which was made at Buckpal, and everyone shared it. So it was a real party situation, and certificates were given out. But I just think it's so important to always share this. And she is so good and so funny. If you're to meet her, she's really lovely and really cares and wants people to do well. We have a picture. I don't know if you have the picture. There we go. That's lovely Queen Camilla, and that's Giles Brandreth. I love him. So I'm really pleased that you've shown that, which is great. He always has these jumpers. If you had a look there, the jumper, people send in jumpers. They make jumpers for him. So that was one that somebody had sent in, saying Poetry Together. Anyway, so that's that's lovely. I mean, so much going on. Prince and Princess of Wales, proud to be supporting Air Ambulance Week. We're in that at the moment. You know, thank you basically to the pilots and paramedics and doctors that work swiftly in response, life-saving situations. And it's obviously those critical moments. And I think in London alone, at least 5 people find themselves, you know, in terrible situations, and they come in and save lives very quickly. And what I didn't realise is that the air ambulance obviously is a charity, but it's very much funded almost entirely by the generosity of local communities, which is interesting. I think it's the way things are going, isn't it? But yeah, really good. Obviously, the Prince of Wales worked for Air Ambulance, I think, in Wales. So it's he's passionate about it, and he's a patron also of them. And they're also going to the rugby this weekend. So they're going to be in France, both of them. It's the Rugby World Cup, and I think we're playing Argentina, and I think Wales is playing Fiji. So that will be exciting. And as we know, the Princess of Wales is now the Football League and Rugby Football Union patron. So it is something that's very important. It's good that they're going as well, because there was lots of talk of the upset of them not going to Australia to see our footballers, our female footballers. But you know, they're going, so it's good. And there's lots and lots more news. I don't know what people think. Do we have a little bit of Prince Harry? I think we should just throw in a little bit of Prince Harry, just simply because I think respect where respect is due. That the Heart of Invictus, which is the docu-series that's been brought out, quite a powerful series. It unfortunately hasn't done as well as he'd hoped, and it hasn't reached the top 10 Netflix wise. But you know, when I was thinking about it, I mean, obviously it is an acquired taste. Not everyone's going to want to watch. It's basically disabled servicemen and talking about, you know, their lives and basically what they achieve at the Invictus Games, and it is very interesting. But do you know what? If Netflix promoted it as much as they promote Suits, which is obviously the series that Meghan Markle was in, it is incredible how they're really pushing that. It's been thrown down. I don't know if you'll watch Netflix, but it really is being pushed. So I don't know. I think they have a lot to do with what does well, I would say. And you know, the Invictus Games is coming up, and he'll be going to Dusseldorf soon. And I think there's a lot of good going on. There's a huge amount of good, and there, you know, there's the late Queen passed a year ago on the 8th, and that's coming up. The royal family are doing different things. Obviously, Harry's doing his thing. They're not coming together. But I think it's a time for reflection, the King and Queen. And I think people are just going to be doing their own different things, which I think is absolutely fine. I plan to, obviously, the late Queen, I absolutely loved her. I think everyone loved her. There was a poll done recently, and I think 93% saying, oh, they wish that she could be back and they miss her. And at the moment, there's obviously a lot of talk. There's plans for a permanent memorial to Queen Elizabeth, and obviously a national legacy programme. But this will be to honour her, but in 2026, which would have been her 100th centenary year. It seems quite far away, but it's quite a big deal because it's done on a Commonwealth level, so many people would be part of it. I think Lord Robin Janvrin, who was the old private secretary, has now been appointed as chairman of the whole board that decides what's going to happen. And we do have some obviously memorials already, but these were done prior to the late Queen, to Queen Elizabeth passing. I do think there is one that's about to be released. I think we've got a picture of that, Dr. Jacalyn. I don't know whether we'd be able to show it. This is a statue, if we have got it, by Hewell. That's lovely. So this is Hewell Brand-Pratley. He is a London-based sculptor. And this is a 7-foot statue made of, I believe, clay. And it's going to be positioned outside Oakham Library in Oakham in Rutland, which is in the East Midlands. This is the first statue really that has been part of the whole, what's the word I'm trying to say here? It was commissioned, that's it. I love seeing his little studio there, which is lovely. 7 foot, that queen. I think it's beautiful because a lot of sculptures you see, they can be quite ugly, but it's also important that obviously she's got her corgis by her feet. So I cannot wait to see that. And I think as well to remember the Queen's legacy, she was all about service and bringing people together. And it's just so important that it involves her charities. It's not just about sculptures. I mean, there's different things that I think there should be a series of sculptures. Sculptures, that's it, that are released all over the place, including the Commonwealth. But just something I was thinking, it would be lovely to have like an immersive, almost like a lovely area, whether it's a museum that everyone can visit. And there are all the videos of her giving her speeches and maybe even a hologram. Wouldn't that be great if we could have a hologram of Queen Elizabeth? That would be lovely. And to remember all of the communities that she's brought together and the charities she's supported all over the years. So basically it's the Queen Elizabeth Memorial Committee are trying to bring a fitting tribute together. So although it's going to take a while, it involves so many people, and actually it's best to get it right, I think. So I think that's quite exciting. And I know that Fox News have been hounding me for loads and loads and loads of gossip on everything. And so I've sent things off. So hopefully that will all be published. But it's great. Also thinking back as well, George VI, Queen Elizabeth's father, his statue, I think, was commissioned. And it was 3 years after he'd passed that it was put up. So, it's not that long. It flies, doesn't it? My goodness, it's a year since Queen Elizabeth was with us, and I can't believe it. And I have taken some wonderful, in my sort of hat of royal photographer, I've been at amazing events and charity events, and I've had the privilege of working with the late Queen Elizabeth probably over the last 2 decades. And I feel so thankful and blessed that I had that chance. Things are very different now. The royal family work in a different way. They have different PR teams, and it's far more covered. But I was lucky to be at wonderful celebrations, and I did send a few of my photographs through just as a memory, really, so we could all remember the late Queen Elizabeth and everything she stood for. And I think we need that more than ever. I think in our world, we really, really, really do. Just so much. And I think as well to hopefully this committee will also help raise grants as well and think of everybody, well-being of the young, the elderly, creation of centres and bringing people together. I just love all these photographs. They just remind me of the fun times I had. Oh, that's a balcony shot. And the best is always when she's smiling. It's always great fun. I just love it. Her eyes come alive, and I don't know. She had just such a wicked sense of humour. She was so fun. Oh, it's so nice to see her with her family. I can see now that all the flights, all the planes flying over. It was lovely. Oh, really, really great. A bit serious, that picture. The only thing I would say, I do feel her outfits, her greens that she wore were slightly off sometimes. I don't know what people think, but she always wore bright. I love that, just because isn't it great to see our royal family, or even though they're not all with us, smiling. I think it's great. But she always wore bright coloured clothing. I love that as well, because that's taken from the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, Prince and Princess of Wales wedding day, and it was so fun. And I would say probably Queen Elizabeth was the happiest I'd seen her on that day. Really, really good fun, and it was bright sunshine. Again, she was wearing bright yellow, but she always wore bright colours so that people could see her. And she did that all her life. Bless her. Miss her.
Those were
magnificent photographs that you took, Helena. Wow, you were right there.
I got some really nice ones. I really do love them. I must put them together. I did think about putting, bringing a book out, in fact, just really of times of meeting the royal family and just, something small, one of those things, be part of my legacy that I can pass on.
Sounds like a fabulous idea.
Yes, I love that statue with the corgis coming out as well. I mean, they really captured that so well. I think that's probably the best I've ever seen of Her Majesty. It's wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely perfect.
She was very small. She was tiny. I mean, they made that almost twice life size.
Yeah, must be. So I can't wait to see that. I really can't.
But there,
oh my goodness. Yeah, they were incredible. And you've seen it here, folks, on USA Global TV and Radio, the latest news and the incredible work of Helena Chard. Thank you, Helena.
You're more than welcome.
We are going to turn over to Mr. Simon MacDonald. What news do you have for us, sir?
Well, I've had a busy weekend. So have an awful lot of people as well. The sun came out and the world came out in Glasgow. We had the Festival of the Sea, and it was at the Riverside Museum on the Clyde, where there's a magnificent tall ship there moored permanently alongside. And the Festival of the Sea has been running for about 16 years now, and it's run by the Clyde Fishermen's Trust. And the Clyde Fishermen's Trust is an incredible organisation, a beautiful charity that caters for the fishing community, in particular with the Clyde fishermen as well. Run by two very good friends, Elaine White and Johnny Walker. Nothing to do with the whiskey, may I add, and I think he'd probably shoot me if I said or dared suggest that. But they put this festival on really at the last minute this year to organise a big event where you can get about 10,000 people a day coming through. It takes some doing. But then when you've only got less than a month to actually put the whole show together, and it was just absolutely staggering what they did. So I got invited along last minute, as usual, as the guest celebrity chef to do demonstrations on cooking with local fish and shellfish, and just show how easy it is to cook with fish. Had an absolutely amazing time, fantastic time. But through the Festival of the Sea, there were so many different stands. There were stands there with traditional boat building. There's one chap I was speaking to with the most incredible, beautiful boat. It's like a piece of furniture that he'd built. It took him 2.5 years to build, and absolutely beautiful thing. We had dragon boat racing as well. Now, these dragon boats, they're about 40 foot long, crewed with a crew of about 12 or 16 people, just paddling like fury up and down the Clyde round a course. We had a team from Bilbao in northern Spain came there as well, big articulated lorry with these magnificent dragon boats inside. So it was great excitement for all, and it was really something for all the family. And it was a very international affair, not just because the Spanish team were there, but there was a cruise ship had come in from America and berthed in Greenock. So we had a whole load of people from the States coming up, and it's lovely because everyone I spoke to is that they're all going to come back again. So yippee. Canada, I think Canada was shut for the weekend because there were dozens of Canadians there. We had Belgians and French and Italians. It was just a whole kaleidoscope of oh dear, I recognize that face. Yes, I was rattling my pots and pans right through the show. I think at that point I was making a huge pot of Cullen skink, which is a traditional Scottish style of it's almost like a chowder, or almost like a clam chowder, but it's using smoked haddock rather than using clams. and it was invented in the little town of Jacalyn. That was one of many television interviews that was being carried out in my direction at the time as well. Media were in strength there as well. So the Jacalyn skink is absolutely delicious. This radio station, one of the local radio stations here, which they were doing a lovely job. So we gave USA Global TV a really good boosting on that one as well. I had about sort of 15 minutes on the show there, so talked all about the show that we're doing here, as we're doing now today. So I even had to come out with one of my usual end of show quips, but there we go. That everybody hangs another tale. But it was the atmosphere at the show was absolutely wonderful. With the Riverside Museum as well, it's and the festival, they've got so many different traditional crafts, and there we have a young lady with her spinning wheel, and she was just all weekend. That wheel was going back and forward all the time, and spinning loads and loads of wool, which she then proceeds to knit as well. So she was trying to do the spinning on the Saturday, and then she was going to do her knitting on the Sunday. But as it turned out, though, that she got stopped and asked so many questions all the time that she hadn't made enough wool, so she kept on the spinning right through the Sunday as well. It was a fabulous show. So many people there, and they're really interested in the heritage that we've got with our shipbuilding in particular on the Clyde, because the site of the Riverside Museum, this is in the vicinity of where the Cunard liners, the Queen Mary, then the QE2, and many other famous ships were built. There was one time when 1 in 5 ships that sailed the 7 seas was built on the Clyde. So it's a tremendous heritage of a shipbuilding industry. And sadly, that's all pretty much gone now. We have one yard that does builds warships, and then further down the Clyde we have another yard, Ferguson's Marine, who are building 2 ferries at the moment. One is just about ready for launching. It's only 5 years late, but manana. There's going to be a Scots word for manana. So that's just due for commissioning soon. There's another one on the slipway. These are quite big ferries to cover the Hebridean Islands. So they're due off the stocks, and I'm not sure how much more work they're going to have after that. It's so sad to see the shipbuilding industry just virtually finished on the Clyde now. It's coming down to cost as much as anything else. I think things from the UK do tend to cost that little bit more. So other ships are now being built in Turkey and all over. That one's not. The white boat upside down there, that was one of the dragon boats from the Barcelona crowd. The little one in front is a traditional Celtic galley, very similar to the Viking longships in style, and the heritage of it obviously comes from the Viking longships. We had a terrible amount of trouble from them. They came down and they decided to be totally self-sufficient, so they raped and pillaged and caused all sorts of mayhem and trouble. But these Celtic galleys, they're actually just so beautiful to watch them on the water. They really are just superb. And there we have teams of local dragon boats racing on the Clyde. So the whole event, it was such a wonderful visual affair. And the jazz band, my goodness, they really got the whole place buzzing. They had a tremendous vibe about them, and they marched up and down through the whole place. A lot of them came to my stand as well. And they brought with them a certain amount of alcoholic beverage as well, which some of it finished up in the Jacalyn skink, and some of it finished up in a glass beside me. Oh dear, these things do happen. And that's the view up the river. This is New Glasgow city centre. We've got the tall spirey thing there as part of the Science Museum. On the other side of the river, there's this sort of arched top. Side on, it looks like an armadillo, and it is known as the armadillo. The tower to the left of that is actually a distillery, quite a new distillery for Glasgow now. The building with the dome thingies on top, that's the BBC Television Centre. But the River Clyde now, it was, since the shipbuilding days, it was pretty dirty, but now it is, it's becoming remarkably clean. People have been known to swim in it, so there we are.
Fantastic reporting. Thank you. It sounds like a tremendous event, and you were front and center with your outstanding cooking. So thank you for sharing that with us.
I used some tricks we'd used on USA Global TV as well when we did the series back, what was it, 18 months ago? Nearly 2 years ago. Goodness gracious. And maybe need to think about another one someday. But yes, I used some of the dishes that we used there as well. And they all went down an absolute storm.
Well, it's brilliant having you here. And of course, Helena had to drop off. She had another meeting to go to. So it's time to say goodbye for this episode. Diane, what would you like to leave the audience with today?
I hope everyone enjoyed all the incredible news coming out of the UK and the pictures. And I hope you all have a very blessed day. But I also want to let Simon know that I used to dragon boat for almost 1.5 years in Dubai.
Wow,
I am very impressed.
I did races and everything.
Oh wow! It's quite an athletic sport. That it's not for the faint-hearted.
Simon MacDonald, what are the last words you'd like to leave people with for this episode?
My famous last word.
Yes.
Well, we've got 2 ears and we've got one mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak.
Okay.
I was doing that today, was I?
That is phenomenal. Thank you. And what I'd like to leave everyone with is something in line with what Simon said. It's all about the power of elevated listening. That's what we celebrate here at this platform, so that people know that they can come to this destination, this channel, this network, and they can truly be heard. I'd love if you would pick up a copy of my new book, Mastering the Power of Elevated Listening. It's available in ebook right now on Amazon, and hardback and paperback will be available on the International Day of Listening, September 21st. All right, we're going to close out with a lovely sponsorship from our dear friend. Who is it? It's Dianne Floyd BOEHM. Thank you all. We'll be back shortly. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Hello, I'm children's author Dianne Floyd BOEHM, and I am co-host for several of the USA Global TV and radio shows. I joined because of the purpose of the USA Global TV and radio. They provide content for the viewers and listeners, an opportunity for people around the world to have their own show or even be a guest on an existing show. We truly believe in helping others get their positive message out to the world. We also have the opportunity for the listeners. You can watch on several platforms, and on YouTube, you can ask questions and even give a comment. We absolutely love it. I love being part of the USA Global TV and radio because I love positive messages, and who doesn't? And we need more of that in the world. We are a family, and we hope you will join us and become part of the family too.